This generation is cooked. Nobody taught these kids anything. We were never like this.
I'm so glad my parents taught me manners. Because I realize more and more every day how many people just genuinely don't know how the fuck to have manners. Have I lost the plot that nobody has manners anymore? Like, no home training, like, nobody watched Barney growing up, nobody taught y'all please and thank you out here.
I'm legitimately waiting on you, and you gonna walk through this door and not say nothing? I be wanting to say you're fucking welcome. Like, for real. You know what I'm saying? Or we on the plane, and I might be in 2A, right? I might see that 4C look like they in a rush. But you know, if you in 4C, you fly enough. You know you're not supposed to get off the plane till I'm off the plane. But you walking, I think you might, and I'll be like, oh, nah, you could go ahead. I'm actually letting you go because you ain't supposed to go, but you're not gonna say thank you?
Respect goes two ways. No matter your age, if you think you can be disrespectful to me and you're older than me, why the hell can I not be disrespectful back to you? It literally goes two ways. Like, no matter your age, be respectful.
You felt it and you already know who you blame. Someone talking through a movie in a dark theater like the film is background noise for their hangout. Someone stopped dead at the top of an escalator while the people behind them pile up. The blank look when you need to get past and the person in your way acts like you're the strange one for existing.
Adults with no manners scare me. Like, for real. Like, adults with no manners. I mean, like, they held a door for you. You didn't say thank you. You sneeze and they said bless you. You didn't say thank you. I think just simple manners is hard to come by nowadays. And the yes ma'am and no ma'am, the yes sir, no sir. I would even say that's a stretch sometimes, but like it shouldn't be. Like, respect. That's a whole other conversation. But manners, yo, it's missing. I've noticed it. And I didn't grow up, it being like demanded to have manners, but like I grew up as an adult, like, okay, yeah, let me be a better mannerable wise, right? But I've been recognizing a lot of adults with no manners, and it need to be talked about because you scare me a little bit. Matter of fact, I want to stay far, far away from you because I'm not sure what you would do to me.
But be honest with me for a second, because this is where the easy story falls apart. Who left the shopping cart sideways across the whole aisle? Who stopped in the middle of the airport to check a text while everyone streamed around them? Who didn't return the cart, didn't hold the door, talked over you the second you paused? Picture those people. They're not 14, they're 40, they're 50, they're 60. So it's not only the kids. The behavior everyone is pointing at is everywhere at every age, and we only notice loudest in the young because they do it without the slightest trace of guilt. But that guilt is the only thing that adults reliably have that the kids don't. The mechanism underneath it is the same in both. The difference is only how much the old reflex is still left. Which means the real question was never really what's wrong with this generation. It's something stranger, and it points back at all of us. Manners were never really about the words. Strip away the etiquette, the specific rituals, the right fork. And underneath every single one of them is the same small question, asked automatically, 100 times a day. Who else is here? That's it. That's the whole thing. Holding a door is just who else is here. Lowering your voice is who else is here. Moving your cart, waiting your turn, not blocking the aisle. Every rule you can name is the same rule, just wearing different clothes. Who else is here? Manners are nothing more than a habit of asking that question without being told to. And that habit is an instinct. Nobody is born asking it. It gets built, or it doesn't, by the kind of life someone lives. For most of human history, an ordinary life asked the question for you, constantly, whether you wanted it to or you didn't. And in the span of about 20 years, we quietly built a world that stopped asking for everyone.
You know what's lost on this generation? Manners. People don't have manners anymore. They're not taught to have manners. I was just in a gas station, right? As I'm coming out, a kid is coming in with his mom behind him. I'm assuming it's his mom. and I hold the door for them. They proceed to walk into the store. Not a thank you, not a appreciate it. When the kid walks by, I'm like, okay, I don't really expect the kid to say anything, but the mom ain't say anything either. So I'm like, well, damn, what are you teaching your kid? I remember when I was a kid, if someone gives you something, your mom was there, they were like, what do you say? Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Or if you ask for something, you're supposed to say please, things of that nature. Kids are just not taught to have manners, and I think it comes from their parents, obviously, because they're the ones that's supposed to teach you, when you see an adult, like yes sir, or yes ma'am, and thank you and please, and all that has gone out the window nowadays. I don't know what's going on.
Children show it first because they never lived in a world that asked. But adults, they show it too because we now spent years in the one that doesn't. The kids aren't the cause. They're just a place that change showed up with nothing covering it. Let's stay honest because the honest version doesn't let anyone off the hook. Walk through any shared space and watch the adults. The grown man taking a work call on speaker in a quiet cafe. He stopped asking who else is here. The woman who parks her cart across the entire aisle and wanders off to read a label, oblivious to the line forming behind her. Same question, unasked. The people who walk 4 wide down a sidewalk built for 2 and won't break formation for anyone coming the other way. The driver who won't let a single car merge like yielding 6 inches is a personal defeat. None of these people are teenagers. Every one of them have quietly stopped asking the only question manners are made of. So why does it feel like a young person problem? Because the young do it clean. No hesitation, no apologies, no small wince of awareness. And adults who block the aisle still half knows they're doing something. A flicker of recognition when someone has to squeeze past. A muttered sorry. A cart nudged an inch aside. The kid has none of that. And that absence is what reads as no manners. But look closely, and it's the only difference. The adults aren't behaving better. They're behaving guiltier. That's not the same thing. Notice that the feeling doesn't actually sort by age. It sorts by something else. And to find out what, you have to back up and ask a question that etiquette books never bothered to. Not how manners are taught, but why they ever existed in the first place.
I don't understand why people can't say please and thank you anymore. I see a lot online. Maybe somebody might be wearing something that you like and then you jump in the comments, dress deets, question mark. And even when the person responds, you don't even say thank you. Now, I don't know if it's the Ghanaian in me, but over here, we are big on please and thank you. But it seems like manners is slowly becoming a distant reality as of late. And I'm not here for it. What is going on?
Thank you. Good morning. Appreciate it. You're welcome. It's not that hard. Do you know what else I noticed too? When people sneeze, I could say, let's just say, out of the last 20 times I heard somebody sneeze and I say, bless you, or God bless you, bless you. I could say out of those 20, maybe 5 say thank you. We don't say thank you after somebody say bless you when you sneeze. Like, then I feel like an asshole when I adapt to the situation and not say bless you to anybody that sneezes anymore because nobody's saying thank you.
Manners exist because of shared space. That's the whole origin. For almost all of human history, you could not get through a single day without being physical forced amongst other people. People you didn't choose, people you didn't like, would never see again. The market, the well, the road, the shared wall. You were pressed up against strangers constantly, and you had no way out of it. There was no version of the day where you got to skip them. And being stuck among people you didn't choose does something to you. It forces you to deal with them, to fit yourself around them, to read the room and adjust because you are going to be in that room whether you read it or not. Every shared space ran on the same quiet demand. There are others here, and you don't get to pretend that there aren't. Think about walking into a small diner 20 years ago. Someone glances up and nods. The waitress catches your eye on her way past. A man holds the door because you're a few steps behind him. You turn sideways for a second so someone can squeeze out of the booth. You don't remember any of it. Nobody remembers moments like that. But that's exactly why they mattered. Each one was a stranger without a word, letting you know they'd registered that you were there. None of this means people back then were kinder than they are now. They argued. They ignored each other. They were just as selfish. But the structure of ordinary life kept handing strangers small chances to acknowledge one another, whether they felt like it or they didn't. Civilization was never really held together by its big gestures. It was held together by thousands of those tiny acknowledgments, so ordinary that nobody noticed that they were happening at all. Now, strip the warmth off that for a second and look at the machinery under. Every one of those small moments was a negotiation. A sidewalk is a negotiation. Who yields, who passes. A checkout line is a negotiation. Who's next? Who waits? A four-way stop, a crowded elevator, two strangers reaching for the same door, each one a tiny contract about how to share a few feet of the world without it falling apart. Civilization, underneath all of it, is millions of these negotiations running at once between people who will never know each other's names. And negotiation needs rules. That's all manners ever were, not politeness for its own sake. The agreed upon rules that let strangers share spaces without it turning into a fight.
Who the hell raised y'all? Because why does nobody say excuse me anymore in the grocery store? You're lifting above me to grab a can above me. And instead of saying excuse me, you just say excuse me. Your buddy's in the middle of the grocery store. I got to maneuver around you. And because I was raised right and I have manners, sometimes I'm nice. I'll automatically say excuse me even when it's not me. And then you don't say nothing. You don't even go, oh, no.
Adults with no manners scare me. Like, what you mean you sneeze, I say bless you, you don't say thank you? What you mean I held the door for you, you don't say thank you? What do you mean you walk into the room, you don't speak? What do you mean I said I hope you have a good day, you said okay instead of I hope you do the same? I feel like simple manners is just so hard to come by. Like the simple yes ma'am, no ma'am, thank you, you're welcome. Like, I don't know if it was just me, if I was just raised differently, but I don't know. It's kind of common sense. Like, it is. It's kind of scary just how rude people are. Like, it costs nothing to have manners, literally. Like, it's so simple.
So, manners weren't taught by parents, really. They were taught by space itself. The friction of constantly being amongst others that you couldn't escape. That was the teacher. It forced the question, who else is here, into you so many times that eventually you stopped noticing that you were asking it. It became a reflex, awareness, drilled in by shared repetition until it felt like part of you. Which means the real question isn't why did people get ruder? It's what happened to all that friction. What happened to the daily, unavoidable, involuntary experience of being stuck among strangers? We made it avoidable. That's what happened. One by one, we found every point where life forced us in amongst strangers, and we built a way around it. You used to wait in line beside people. Now the order is placed on a screen and it's ready when you arrive. No line, no strangers, no waiting amongst anyone. You used to be stuck in shared room with nothing to do, which meant you had no choice but to notice the people in them. Now, there's an infinite escape in your pocket. And every glance down at it is one less glance at the room. You used to be corrected by strangers. An adult who wasn't your parent telling you to settle down. The friction of consequence. Now correcting someone else feels like a risk no one wants to take. This is where the phone comes in. And notice it was never the cause. It's just the most powerful tool we've ever invented for the thing we already wanted. To not have to deal with whoever happens to be standing next to us. It just finally lets us do it completely. Anywhere at any moment at any given time. It's the perfect exit from who else is here. A door you can walk through while standing perfectly still. And every one of these escapes was sold to us as a gift because individually, each one is one. Skip the line. Who wouldn't? Never be bored. Wonderful. Never be scolded by a stranger. Fine. Nobody chose to become less aware of other people. We just kept accepting the reasonable conveniences, each one removing one more moment where the world used to force a question on us. We didn't decide to stop asking the question. We just slowly stopped being put into situations that ask for us. That's the whole shift. And that's why it isn't a generation's fault and it isn't even really a choice. The adult on speakerphone and the kid shrieking through the concert are doing the same thing for the same reason. Both are living in a world that stopped forcing them to account for the stranger beside them. So the reflex went slack. Remove the friction and you remove the teacher. We removed the friction everywhere for everyone and called it progress. So why does it show up in the young first if it's happening to all of us? Because everyone older is a convert. You cross into this frictionless world as an adult, carrying the old awareness with you. Built the slow way by years of being stuck among strangers before the escape existed. So even now, when you sink into your phone in a waiting room, some buried part of you still registers the room. The reflex is still in there, just quieter. You learn the question the hard way, and you can't fully unlearn it. The youngest never learned it at all. There's no earlier version that knew a world of unavoidable strangers, of forced rating, of being stuck. The frictionless world isn't something that happened to them. It's just the world, the only one they've ever stood in. So when they move through a shared space like it belongs to them alone, they're not being defiant. They're being perfectly faithful to everything they were ever shown. That other people are avoidable. That the room is something that you can leave without standing up. That the stranger beside you never has to enter the calculation at all. And that's the difference the whole kids these days argument mistakes for character. The adult's awareness went slack late with the old reflex still flickering underneath. The kids never got built. Same slackness, different starting points. And we read the kids' version as a moral failing only because there's no leftover guilt sitting on top of it to soften the picture. We're not watching a worse generation. We're watching the same erosion finally with nothing left covering it up. So maybe the phrase was wrong from the start. Because they have no manners points at the kids, and this was never really about the kids, and it was never really about manners. Maybe the strange feeling people keep calling bad manners isn't really about politeness at all. Maybe it's what happens when a society slowly forgets that every public place belongs to everyone at once. Every line you ever waited in, every stranger you had to make room for. Every quiet room, every shared sidewalk. Every moment you were stuck among people you didn't choose. None of it was teaching you etiquette. It was teaching you the one thing underneath all of it, that you were never the only one here. Manners were never really the point. They were simply the visible proof that we remembered. Thanks for tuning in with your girl, Remy. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about, just drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.